Thank you very much. Hello, everybody. It's your good friend Pozzible here, and I am here today with a very important movie review because I've been doing a lot of movie reviews lately. As a matter of fact, if you look around this one, you'll notice that there are reviews for people like Madison County, Ghost Game. These are very old concepts. It's the cabin in the wood concepts. All right, it's the people who go in the middle of nowhere. Horror strikes, they get slaughtered, nice little scare at the end, right? Sometimes there are different versions of horror movies, right? Sometimes these are horror gore, sometimes these are just horror death, meaning the only thing that's scary about them is the fact that people die in bloody fashions, but other than that, they try to invoke as much comedy as possible. And then there's horror suspense. Now, horror suspense are one of those movies that are really good horror. And this is what horror is all about. And there's finally, after all the movies I've had to review, I finally found one that's a hidden gem. Wilderness Survival for Girls, which is an incredibly good horror movie. It's what horror is really supposed to be. It's suspenseful, it's intelligent characters, it's people who are trapped, and sometimes the morality is somewhat ambiguous. You really don't know what the right thing is to do and stuff like that. Now, this is actually a pretty clean movie. No blood, well, maybe a little bit of blood, but nothing major. And this is the only picture I could find of the movie, of the characters. Okay, they're not in character. This is the actors and actresses and how they live in their normal everyday life. I wanted to show you the characters, but I couldn't. Now maybe my problem was I tried to get all the characters together into one photo. Guys, this is the cast. Okay, we're not talking about anyone missing or somebody less in the background. This is it. This is everybody in the movie who has even an appearance in the movie. But that said, don't let that detract you. It's a very intelligent movie. You got these girls who go into the cabin in the woods, as always, to hang out and just relax. It's their high school graduation. And now they're getting ready for college and everything, and they're ready for the next phase of their lives. This is a cabin in the wood that nobody has gone to for months at a time. It's been a long time since anyone has been there. So, a drifter, maybe a homeless man, we really don't know much about him. The guy there named John, was his name John? Well, for now we'll call him John. He shows up. He's been staying there. And they should have realized that when they found a fox in the freezer. But that said, they've got his gun. He wants his gun back. He wants his stuff, but he's on their property. Well, one of the girls' property. It belongs to only one of the girls. That said, this begins this huge, who are you? What do you want? Why are you here? And are you here to kill us? Ultimately, imagination is your worst enemy in this movie because it's not what's happening. If you really watch the movie and go by just what's happening, not much is happening at all. But when you bring in the dialogue, and you bring in the possibilities, and you never know with his behavior and her behavior and their behavior and this idea and oh, that story someone heard a long time ago, it really starts to add the suspense and people don't know what to do or how to really finish it off. They actually capture John, but he really hasn't done anything. It's all in their imagination. The horror is really all in their heads. But that horror in their head is as real as any other horror, and it is scary, And sometimes you feel for him, sometimes you feel for them. It goes a little nuts. This has some of the usual cliches. They're three friends, but they're not best friends. There's a lot of animosity there between them, even though they like to hang out with each other, and as long as everything's cool, they're cool. But once things start to go wrong, then everything starts to go wrong. And the results, let's just say the results can be disastrous. Of all the movies I've reviewed, Wilderness Survival for Girls is a see it. If you haven't seen it yet, do not pass this by. It's a very good movie. It's an original concept. It's what you're supposed to do when you make a movie. You're not supposed to take a movie and redo it. It's like, okay, throw in some kids, throw in a little bit of background, slaughter them. That's been done too many times. add a good story, give us some possibilities, and who knows, you might have a masterpiece.